Hello everyone. So in this lecture, we will make an AI cold caller for a marketing company. We will do the prompting, the backend setting, and even insert and integrate the appointment booking system into our agent. So let's get started. Alright, so all the files and the prompts have been provided in the description, so you can download it from there. Now let's go in our Vapi and let's set up our agent. So first we'll work on the front end of the agent, like the prompt, the Vapi settings of the agent, the voice, and once that is done, then we'll move towards the make.com automations, the backend of the agent, and in the third step we'll test the agent and see if it needs some improvement. So let's create our new assistant. Obviously we'll start from blank template, and here's the first message. Let's remove this. Let's remove the system prompt. Now I already have written a prompt, so I'll just first of all stay on this page, publish it, and I've already written down a prompt, so I'll use this prompt to rephrase. And basically this prompt is for a Vapi agent whose main job is to cold call local businesses and cold call them and basically sell them the service of organic content by this marketing agency. So we have a marketing agency. Let's name that marketing agency Forgia Media. So Forgia Media basically makes organic content for local businesses, and this AI agent's main objective is to call the person, tell them that they are not making content, or if they're making content it's pretty shit, and our company basically makes and has expertise in organic content and will help you make one and basically help you grow your business through social media. So that's the main objective. Now let's enter all this info in our GPT and let's rewrite our prompt. All right, so now I have written down my chat GPT prompt, and basically I have told GPT to rewrite this prompt for my Vapi AI agent. I have defined what kind of agent am I exactly looking for. That's a cold caller agent, and here's I've listed the services which this company provides essentially. And then below I have written down the conversation flow. So what should be the flow of the conversation? And you can say it's very similar to what we call script in cold calls, but it's not like a solid script which the agent has to follow. It's like a conversation flow of what kind of questions the agent should ask. Like the first question they should ask them is like, still are they open or not? And then like various different questions to get their attention, and then basically do the pitch, right? Below, if we scroll down, you'll see that I have listed a couple of objections which the agent might face during the cold calls, and I've also written down the answers which the agent should say to that specific business. So this is really important. I have only written on 3 objections for now, but obviously when you're making these agents, you can add as many objections as possible, and it's good to add as many objections and their answers in the prompt so that the agent is prepared during any sort of conversation. Now if you'll scroll down, I've also written down instructions to when the customer agrees to book the appointment. So this is the flow the agent should follow, where the agent first asks the customer's name and the email, and then the time when they want to book the appointment. And then I've also explicitly written down that use the availability checker tool to check the availability, and use this specific tool to book the appointment. We'll make these tools in Vapi. Obviously we'll make these tools, but I've already mentioned them in the prompt so that the agent knows which tool to use in what situation. So that should be clear. And below I have written down a persona, just a single line persona for the agent's name. That should be Grace, and she works for a company named Forgia Media. I've also written down the location in the start. So this agency is based out of Vancouver. So yep, and this is the old prompt, so we'll be rephrasing this prompt using ChatGPT. So we have got our new prompt for our agent. Let's copy this. We'll just start copying from there all the way till down here. Final prompt will be provided in the description, so don't worry about that. You can just copy it from there. Let's go to assistants and let's put this prompt here. And then the first message should obviously, hey, am I talking to, and then the name of the customer. So we'll just leave the name thing for blank as of now. In the backend, when we're making the automation, we'll add the name. So yep, this is done. And below down, we'll also put something like some beg some details of the customer, of the business owner, name, their company name, let's update this, let's save these changes. So the agent is going to speak first, and the prompt looks good to me. Let's work on our model. We'll be using GPT OpenAI's 4O mini cluster. That's the best model. You can use the 4O cluster. Like if I set 4O cluster, it increases the latency, but this is a much more smarter, you can say, AI model. So it really depends upon, like what do you want to compromise at the end of the day. In majority of the cases, 4O mini cluster does the job, so we'll select that one for now. Plus it's really cost efficient, like 9 cents per minute. That's nothing. If we scroll down, okay, so if we'll scroll down, we'll see max tokens. We'll keep it 250 for now. Let's increase the temperature to 0.9. That's the ideal range. For these agents, 0.9 is the best agent, but if you're making an agent, which should be a little more emotional and should be more expressive in nature, then you should definitely increase the temperature, but don't go above 1.4. I think that's like after 1.4, the agent just starts speaking random words, and I mean, it becomes a hell lot of a mess. So yeah. For the voice, I would say we'll go for Kylie. I think that's one of the best voices which we have used so far. So we'll select Kylie, and plus she's very cost efficient and latency efficient. So we'll select that one. And then we'll go to the transcriber. I think we'll go for Nova 3 this time. Let's see how much latency effect does Nova 3 has. So pretty much no effect on the latency, it remains the same. So we'll select Nova 3. That's the latest model for DeepGround. So transcriber are basically that AI model which essentially transcribes our voice into words, which are then processed by GPT's model, and then we get the response. So this is really important because a lot of times agents are speaking to people who have an accent like me, or like a lot of people, and in those instances, when we speak certain words, the AI doesn't catch them correctly, and that becomes an issue. So it's really important to use the latest model to get rid of that accent problem. Then we'll scroll down. We don't need to change any of them, and then we'll scroll down. I mean, you can play around with these functions, but we don't need them for now, so we'll skip them. Let's scroll down. Let's go to privacy, and everything looks good. So a quick overview. So this is HIPAA compliance. So essentially a lot of countries follow this HIPAA compliance, under which the agent doesn't store any recordings or transcripts of the calls. So if you're in one of those countries and you are making these agents, you should definitely enable this. PCI compliance is pretty similar. So these compliances are in US or in Europe, so make sure that you read all the government guidelines when you're making and deploying these agents, and follow the government guidelines. So this is the option for call recording. Yes, we want to audio record it. We don't want to video record it, obviously, so we'll scroll down. Start speaking plan. This is how long the system will wait before speaking. Let's put it to 0, publish it. Let's go down, let's see. Just reduce. I don't think so, we should reduce it. And yep, this looks pretty good to me. Let's scroll down and stop speaking plan. So we'll just put it to 0. So this is the seconds the assistant will wait. Once it's interrupted, we'll put it 0. This is the seconds customer to speak. we'll just do it like 0. I think we'll do the 0.1. That does the job. Will not change any of these settings. We'll make it like that, and yep, this looks good. So let's talk to our assistant. Let's first name our assistant. So Grace and then Forgia Media. Done. So this is the marketing agency this AI agent is working for. This looks good to me. Now let's connect this to a phone number and let's make a trial, or you can say a test call for this agent, and just to make sure that the agent is working decently good. Obviously we'll make some changes if we feel there are some bottlenecks to it. So we'll use this phone number, make a dummy call.
Hey, am I talking to?
Yes, who's this?
Hi there. I'm Grace from Forgia Media, a local marketing agency here in Vancouver. Just checking in to see if you folks are still open.
Yes, we are. Like, why are you even asking this question?
Oh, I totally get it. I tried looking you up online and couldn't find much on social media, so I just wanted to make sure you're still in business. I appreciate you taking my call. So I'm calling because my team actually made 2 custom reel samples for your business. Just something fun we put together. We'd love to send it over completely free. Would it be okay to book a super quick 15-minute call to show you the videos and walk through what we had in mind?
No, I mean, I didn't even ask you to make any videos for me. Like, I don't really get it. Like, what's the even point of this? Like, what's going on?
I totally understand where you're coming from. It can be a bit surprising. The main point is that we created these custom reel samples as a way to showcase how engaging content can help promote your business online. With so many people hanging out on social media these days, having eye-catching content can really help attract
Nah,
more
I don't
customers.
think so. I need your service. Thank you so much.
I completely understand, and I appreciate your honesty. Just out of curiosity, I wanted to mention that some of your competitors have been really active on social media lately and have started to gain more attention, but no pressure at all. If you ever feel like checking out the real samples we made, I'd be happy to send them over.
All right, so the agent is working good, but obviously I've filled a couple of changes which needs to be made. So the first change is that the agent introduced itself in a very salesy manner in the very start of the call. So when I asked who is this, the agent is like, I'm Grace from this XYZ marketing company. No, we don't want that, because I've done cold calls, and if we do this, people will cut the call on the phone. So we don't want that. That's the first change. The second is that when the agent basically says that, oh, are you open, and then we say, oh yeah, we are, then it's like, oh yeah, because I didn't see any social media presence. That's it. We don't want anything else to be added to that line, right? Because in this case the agent was like, oh, I didn't see your social media presence, so I thought that you guys are closed, and we have made like 2 reels for you. Like, what the heck is even going on, right? That doesn't make any sense. So the agent should only say, oh yeah, so I saw that like you guys don't have a social media presence, or it's pretty weak, so I thought that you guys are closed. That's it. And then obviously the owner will be like, oh, I mean, like, what do you mean by we don't have the presence? I mean, we have a website or something like this. And then the agent is like, oh, okay, because I actually made like 2 reels for your business, like sample reels, and I just wanted to send you those reels, and like that. So this is how I think we should divert the conversation, because these agents are used in real life scenarios. Businesses really use these agents, and we don't want the agent end up being a useless gimmick. That's why it's important to do these changes. So it's okay. Let's work on the prompt. Let's paste the prompt here in our GPT, and let's start writing the changes which I've just told you. All right, so two main changes which needs to be made in this prompt. The first one is the introduction of grace in the very start of the call. The second is that the second line of the agent, where if the person says that, oh yeah, we are open, the agent should say that, oh, I see, I didn't see any, social media presence. So, I was like, maybe you guys are closed. So this is really important. And now let's click enter, and let's get a new prompt and put that into our Vapi prompt. Another way to write prompts very efficiently, specifically for these AI cold calling agents, is to go to YouTube, search for live cold calls made by different people, and download the video, get the audio file of that video, transcribe that using ChatGPT or Descript or any software, and the transcription which you get after putting that into GPT, take that transcription, put that into GPT, and tell GPT to use this transcription, use this specific cold call script to write this Vapi AI prompt for this AI cold caller. So essentially GPT will see that, okay, this is how this person talked during a conversation of a cold call, and I'll take lessons from there and I'll put that thing into the Vapi AI prompt, which is of a AI cold caller agent. So this is another efficient way to write prompts for AI cold callers. Anyways, our new prompt is ready and good to use. So let's copy this and let's paste it here. So this is done now. And now it's time to go to make.com and set up the backend of the prompt. Now we'll open make.com, create a new scenario. All right, so now we need 3 automations in make.com. The first one, the purpose of the first one is to trigger a call where we'll have a Google Sheet which is going to contain the data of our customers which needs to be cold called, and this automation will take that data and call that person specifically. So we'll make this happen by using the Vapi API which we discussed in the last few lectures. The second automation will be the availability checker automation, which will check the availability of the time in our calendar. And the third automation will be the set meeting automation, which will essentially book the meeting in our calendar. The second and the third automation and the JSON files of all these 3 automations have been provided in the description. So you can directly copy from there and import that into your make.com account. So the first automation is going to be the call trigger system. So we'll write call trigger system grace. Looks good. Let's click on the plus sign. Let's get a HTTP module. We'll make a request and let's go to a Vapi docs. So now it's time to make our agent in the Vapi API. So this is our agent which is already ready. Now we'll just copy all these settings into the Vapi API. So let's click on the plus sign. So we use this plus sign to add different properties. APIs are a little, tricky sometimes, specifically for beginners. That's absolutely fine. You can just play around with it, and if you face some issues, you can put that in the community and we'll help you out. But if you can learn this, the API thing, that's the best thing you can do when you're learning about Vapi agents, because this really gives you a lot of flexibility. Now let's continue. Let's scroll down and we'll start with our very first customers. We'll add a customer, the number of the customer. So this is the customer's number which will be called, and we'll click this, and this is the name of the customer. So that's pretty much done. Let's go to our optional properties. Now we need to select our assistant. Okay, here's our assistant. Now we have got 34 additional properties under assistant, so we'll set up this one first. So let's go down. Let's choose a transcriber. The transcriber for this one will be deepgram. So you can see deepgram. So this is the transcriber. Under this we have different options. We'll select deepgram as the best option. Provider is deepgram, and now under the transcriber provider you'll see 11 more additional properties. So we'll select this and we want the model. The model should be Nova 3. So we'll scroll down and Nova 3. That's the best one. And also another thing, this is really, I don't know if we test this topic, but we get different transcribers depending upon where the agent is used. So for example, if you're making an agent for a medical clinic, you can select Nova 3 Medical. Now the difference between Nova 3 and Nova 3 Medical is that Nova 3 Medical is meant to understand medical terms and terminologies. So a lot of medical terminologies are a little complex when we spell them. So Nova 3 Medical has that capacity to easily catch those words clearly and interpret them. But if you're using Nova 3 and we say that exact same medical term, it might not catch that with that clarity or with the correct spelling. So you can change the transcriber depending upon the use case of the agent. In this case, we'll use only Nova 3. We'll select the language under our Nova 3. That's gonna be English, so it should say EN. Now this looks good. Let's just make sure that we're not leaving anything behind. Yep, this looks good to me. Let's scroll down. Now we'll select our GPT model. So under our model, as you can see, this is the model. Let's select this and we'll go for OpenAI. OpenAI it is. Our model will be GPT-4o Turbo, or we can say 4o Mini in this case. So let's search it up. 4o Mini, 4o Mini. Yep, here it is, 4o Mini. You see a lot of models. I highly recommend you just play around with every single one of them and see what works for you. So the model has been selected. Now we have other additional properties under our model. Let's see which are these properties. Max tokens are already set. Let's set the temperature to 0.9. Done. Let's just go down and see what else can we change. We don't need a knowledge base. Tool IDs, this is really important, so we'll just select tool IDs, and we need two tools. So I'll just see, this is the tool IDs, as you can see. So so here we will paste the tool ID. So whenever we'll make tools, the IDs of those tools will be pasted here. Now we'll just leave them blank for now, and when we'll make the tools, we'll post the IDs. Under optional properties, we'll go, and now we will select messages. This is important. So this is the message thing. You can see, add a new item. The role, always select it as the system. And once you select that system, go to this optional property, content, and in the content we'll post our prompt. So this is the place where we'll paste the prompt. So we already have the prompt in place. Let's copy this, paste the prompt. Looks good to me. Now we'll just scroll down. Let's make sure that we're not leaving anything behind. Tools is done. We're not using any knowledge base. Max tokens, we don't need to go for that. Okay, this looks good. Now under our assistant properties, so this is the assistant properties. Let's click this again, 32 properties. Let's select the voice. This is important again. We don't want to use Azure. We'll use Vapi's native voice. That's pretty stable, I would say. Vapi, and we'll select Kylie. Yep. We don't need to do any other changes in this. Now under again the 31 additional properties of the assistant, we'll select the first message. So yep, it should be here. Am I talking to? This first message usually works for majority of the agents, so it's good. Now we'll go down. We don't need to do this. Client messages, server messages. Yeah, we need to play around with this as well. So in this case, if you go to advanced messaging, so these are the server messages. We only need the end of call report, and that's it. We don't need anything else than that. So I'll just select that for now. End of call report for server messages. Server messages. We only need the end of call report. Now this is a server message, which is basically the webhook sending pieces of data to our make.com, and in this case we only need to send the end of call report, and that's why I've selected only end of call report under server messages. You can select more pieces of data if you want, like the language changed, model output, stuff like that. That's pretty much useless to us at this moment, so we don't really need that. And then the first message mode, we don't need to select if we don't select the first message mode. So by first message mode, the agent means this option. When we don't change it anything, it's by default set to assistant speaks first. So that's pretty much what we want. We don't need any client messages, background denoising, we don't want to do that, credentials, hook, voicemail, end of call. So these are the things which you can play around. So basically you can say, it says start speaking plan, stop speaking plan. So these are these settings. So stop speaking plan, start speaking plan. Now we have already calibrated it to 0, so we'll only change the wait seconds to 0. So you can see this is the wait seconds have been changed to 0. Now the thing is, when you are making agents in the Vapi's API, if you don't change some settings, for example, if I don't like change any of these settings, it's gonna be set to the by default settings, right? But if I change this specific setting, then the rest of them will be set to by default except this one. So if you tweak a setting in the Vapi API, so if you tweak a setting in the Vapi API, it will be changed, and the settings which you don't change, they'll be set to by default. So pretty simple. Let's select the start speaking plan. It should be somewhere here. Yeah, start speaking plan. Under that we have 5 properties which we can change. We only want to change the wait seconds to 0. That's important. And then we'll go to the stop speaking plan. Under stop speaking plan, we'll have these 3 properties. So let's select, these are the additional properties of the assistant. Let's select them. Stop speaking plan, where it is. Yep. Stop speaking plan. We have 5 additional properties under that as well. Now this is the seconds. As you can see, it says this is a seconds customer has to speak before the assistant stops speaking. We'll select this one, voice seconds. So as to speak before start stopping. So this is the exact same setting which we are calibrating right now. We have done it 0.1 second here, so we'll just go for 0.1. And then stop speaking plan, we will have back off settings seconds. So back off seconds are these settings. So as you can see, the name is even same, back off seconds and the back off seconds. So it's a 0 for now. Let's set it to 0. It's already set to 0 by default. It's good. Now let's go to our optional properties for our assistant, the 27 additional properties. Now I don't think so we are left with anything else. Oh yeah, we need to set the server, the webhook URL as well. But before that, we just need to make sure that we're not leaving anything behind. Yep, everything looks good to me. Obviously we can do additional changes as we go. So if you feel like we need to add the analysis plan, the structured data and all that stuff, we can do that. But for this video, we'll just keep it simple. So I'll not select anything else. Let's select the server. So under server, we have, so this is when we say server, so this exact setting is the setting which comes under messaging. So this setting of messaging is the exact same one for server. So if we open the messaging setting, we see a server URL option, secret token, timeout, blah blah blah, all that services, and these are the exact services we see here. We only need the URL for now. So we'll paste our webhook URL, which we'll get from our automations into here. So now we'll add the server URL. So you can see this is the messaging. Under this we have the server URL. Now, as you all already know, this is a URL, so we'll paste a webhook URL here. And once the call is done, all the data from the call will be sent to make.com through the webhook URL, which will be pasted here. So we need to add this setting in the agent as well. Let's go to our 27 additional properties of the system. Scroll down, select server. Under server, we'll have 4 properties. We only need the URL. And here we'll paste the webhook URL of our make.com. And once the call is done, all the data from the call will be pushed to make.com through this webhook URL. So it's like a bridge. Once that is done, let's make sure that we are not leaving anything behind. Seems good to me. And oh yeah, one more thing which we need to do is that if you go to analysis and scroll down, we have structured data. So you already know this is a structured data which will be sent after the call has been made to the webhook, to the make.com. Once the call is done, we only need 2 pieces of data from the call, which is really important, which we don't get by default. The first one is the name of the customer. The second is their email. So these are the 2 details which we don't get by default from Vapi, and we need to ask Vapi to give us those details from the conversations, 2 pieces of key data. So we need to add property here. So we'll put that into our Vapi agent. Let's select the additional properties. Now you'll see it says structured data, but here you won't see any option for structured data. So what you need to do is you need to select something called analysis plan. Now you'll select analysis plan, scroll up, you'll see analysis plan, and you'll have 5 optional properties under that. Open that, and then you'll see structured data plan. Select that. Under structured data plan, again you'll see 4 properties, and then now we'll select the messages. So when we select the messages, it's basically adding the property. Okay, so under analysis plan, you'll see the option for structured multi-plan, structured data multi-plan. We'll select this one. So once you'll select this one, you'll see an option for add new item. Now this is the exact same option which you see when you add a new property in your AI Vapi agent. So when we add a new property, we'll see a field name, the type, and mark as required or not. So this is the exact thing which you can see right here. So we'll add a new item, the key, that's the name. So we'll add the name as name underscore customer. So that's the name. All right. So once the name of the customer is done, then we'll click on this additional properties. Now these 4 properties come under the key of the structured data analysis plan. So let's select the schema. When you select schema, you'll see different options like string, array, blah, blah, blah. So these are the exact same options which you see right here. Now, once you have selected string, you'll see 7 more properties. Click that, and you'll see a lot of properties. We don't need to select any of them, just the description. So this is the exact same description which we provide for our properties in structured data plan. So this is the exact same description. We'll just say retrieve the name of the customer from the conversation, from the customer if they have given 1. That's done. And once this is done, then we'll add another key. So this is our first key with the name of the customer, the type string, and the description, just like this. Now we'll add another item, which is the email of our customer. Go to properties, we'll go for schema, select schema as string. Obviously if you want to store it as array, you can do that, or if you are retrieving some digits from the conversation, you can use an integer or a number, depends upon your usage. But obviously when we are storing name and emails, all of them are strings. So strings are like keys, like normal words. That's what we call string in the computer language. Now in the additional properties, we'll select description and we'll write retrieve the email of the customer. Looks good if they have given one. Looks good to me. So once this is done, we'll scroll down. We'll go back to our properties of our assistant, 25 more properties, and we'll see if any of them are missing. Let's make sure that we are not missing anything behind. So this is done, this is done, this is done. Message plan, we don't need to work on that. Credential IDs, nope. Yeah, everything looks good to me. Obviously, if we feel like we need to add something, we can add that by coming to this page and basically adding properties, but this looks good to me. So if I'll just let's see if we can expand this, or I'll just, never mind, I'll just open JSON beautifier. So if you take a close look, I'll just copy this, paste it in here. This is the backend code of our agent. So this code is basically executed in the back end, which results in our agent to call the customer, right? So this is what happens in the back end. Looks pretty scary, I know, but I think it's pretty simple. We don't need to really code that, and Vapi makes it really easy for us to write this thing down without knowing the actual coding, because I also don't know coding, but still we are able to write this code efficiently by using this environment which Vapi has provided. So that's pretty good. Now once we have got this, let's copy this, go to our call trigger system. Now obviously we need to set up our HTTP module, so it's asking for the URL. Let's see what's the URL. As you can see, this is the URL which we need to paste in here. Let's paste it. The method should be post. How do I know? Well, it's mentioned here. Now we have to add two headers. The first one is authorization header. So let's select that. Go to our headers, authorization, and we have bearer, and then our Vapi API key. So we'll paste that API key later on. This is the content type. Select a header, content type, application JSON. That's done too. Now these are two headers. Now this says D, which means data. So we'll scroll down, and body type is basically under which the data comes. So we'll select the body type raw, content type as JSON application, and in the request content we'll basically select something like this. So this is the data you need to copy after the inverted commas. So we'll just select this all the way till down here, copy and paste it here. So this looks good. Now let's save it. Now if we run this automation, the call won't be triggered because we haven't fed the phone number. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a Google Sheet module which will basically retrieve data from the Google Sheet which contains the data of the customers which needs to be called, right? Backend code for our GPT is almost ready. Our API is basically almost ready, but we do need to make a couple of additional changes before we use this in our make.com to trigger the call. So first we'll go to our properties and we'll add a phone number ID. So basically this is the phone number which will be used by the agent to call the customer. So go to a Vapi, select your phone number, copy the ID and put that ID in here. So this looks good. Let's make sure that we are not leaving anything behind. We don't need any of this, and yep, seems like everything looks good. Now before we copy this code, let's just put a sample URL for now in this code. So this is a server URL which we need. So this is a server URL which will be basically getting the data from the Vapi after the call has been done. So once the call is done, Vapi will send all the calls data like the transcription, summary and all that info which we did discuss in a couple of lectures before this. to our make.com. So let's put a dummy URL for now. So I'll just go to Vapi and get our webhook URL. Here we go. Let's scroll a little up and we'll see something called tool IDs. So yep, these are the tool IDs. We can't leave it blank because if we trigger this code right now in make.com, it won't be able to make any call because we have left tool IDs as blank. So we do need to add some tool IDs. Now we'll just go to Vapi and I'll just copy these two tool IDs. You can put any tool IDs for the testing purposes, but obviously we'll make proper tool IDs, we will make proper tools, and then we'll add those tool IDs before we finally push this system in the market. So let's put these tool IDs and let's make sure we are not leaving anything blank. So for the name and number, obviously we'll have to leave this blank, but except that, I don't think anything is left behind. So let's copy this code. Alright, so there's this one website called JSON Beautifier which you can use to essentially see your whole data. So you can see this is the code which will be pushing in our make.com. So yep, that looks pretty scary, I would say, but it's pretty easy. I mean, you know, we wrote all of this without having the knowledge of coding, so that's pretty cool, I would say. And that happened because of this environment which the Vapi has created for us developers. So once we have the code in place, let's start setting up our call trigger system in make.com. Let's go to the plus sign, HTTP. We'll select a make a request option. The URL, this is important. So let's go and let's see what it instructs us. It gives us all the instructions for setting up this module. So for the URL, we'll copy this URL. For the method, it says post, so we'll go for post here. Now it says that it should have two headers. The first one should be authorization, the name should be authorization, and then in the value it should be bearer and then the API key. So let's do that. Headers, name, authorization, bearer, and then you'll put the Vapi API key. I'll put my key later on, and we'll put the second header, content type. Make sure you only copy the name of the header and not the semicolon. That's gonna give you again errors, so we don't want that. The value will say application JSON. Once that is done, we'll go down, we'll select the body type as raw, content type as JSON application, and in the request content we'll put all this juicy data. So it says D, which means data. So make sure that you don't copy the inverted commas, just the bracket afterwards. And let's copy this and let's push this here. Now before we make any call, let's put our number for testing purposes. So I'm gonna put my number in here and my name. So now if we trigger this call, it should ring my phone. Now you can see this one error which says that bad escaped character in JSON position 2646. Now, you know, you'll see a lot of errors when you're making automations, and that's absolutely fine. You don't need to panic at all. Just copy your code. So usually we see errors in this part of the automation. Also, we haven't put our API key, so I'll put that. But this error doesn't say anything about the API key. It instead says something about the JSON code which we have put. So this is the JSON code. Now let's just copy this code, go to JSON Beautifier, put this code, and when you'll put any code in JSON Beautifier, it basically indicates you which line has the error or the bug. So this is the line. Now, as far as I can understand, the problem is that this code, the prompt is written in simple English language, but when we are using Vapi APIs, we need to put the prompt, and everything in the prompt should be in a JSON format. So we need to put our basically convert our prompt into JSON format and then feed that JSON formatted prompt in our API to trigger the call. So it sounds a little complex, but it's pretty easy. Just go to a plus sign, add a module named JSON. You can even search it up like JSON and go to type transfer, and you'll see this module named transfer to JSON. So additionally, what's going to happen is that our simple English written prompt will be transferred into a JSON formatted prompt, and we'll feed that specific prompt to our HTTP module to trigger the call. So let's connect these both. Let's make sure that we take out this prompt. Take this thing out, and also we'll remove these double inverted commas. Let's save it, go to a JSON, push that here, and we'll only run this module. So what I did is right click and run this module only, and JSON string. So this is now converted into JSON. Now I know it doesn't look much different, but if you can closely observe, we have some dashes in here, some dashes in here. So basically now this exact same format has been converted into JSON, so that's good. Now we'll just go to a HTTP module, scroll down, we'll select the content option where our format basically comes in. So we'll select the JSON string, and this looks good to me. Let's save it, and let me add my API key to this prompt to make sure it doesn't give us any error. Bearer API key, save it, and make sure that you put your private key in here, because in 95% of the cases you always require your private key when you're making APIs in Vapi. So yep, that's done. Let's save it, and just make sure everything is in play. It looks good to me. Let's run it. So we have got another error which says that assistant server messages must be an array. So basically our server messages which we selected in here, so in this case I think we selected something called end of call report. So these are the messages which Vapi sends to make.com after the call is done, and this should be in an array format. So a lot of you guys who are programmers or developers who are watching this course will know what's an array is, and those who don't know, it's just putting a couple of brackets in the place. So let's figure out where server messages are. These are server messages, so we'll just put this square bracket, enter, and let's put another one in here, and yep, that's how an array is done. Obviously you'll get this exact JSON file with the correct format in the description, so you can just copy that, download it from there, put that in make.com and launch the automation. So you don't need to do those corrections, but it's very important to understand that you can face these kind of errors in make.com and in Vapi, and you should know how to fix it, right? So yep, that's why I'm not cutting anything in this whole video, just to make sure that you see that okay, these changes have been made, and you might face these errors during the development process. So now hopefully we should get the call. Let's see, it says status code 201, and boom.
Hey, am I talking to?
Yes, who is this?
Oh, I'm Grace. Just a quick one. I was calling to check if you folks are still open.
Yes, we are still open.
Oh, great to hear.
So the agent sounds good. One more thing which I think we should do is that when it says the first message, the very first message the agent should say, it should also include my name. So I'll just say Gurjot. Let's trigger this thing once again.
Hey, am I talking to Gurjot?
Yes, you are.
Awesome. Thanks for confirming.
So you saw it said my name, and we were able to successfully trigger our call. Now, this looks good in perspective, but obviously when you're making this agent and when you'll be deploying this agent, you don't want to call one customer, you want to call like hundreds or maybe thousands of customers. So for that, we need to have a Google Sheet which contains data of your customers. So in this case, we have this demo sheet which contains the name of the customer, the company's name, and the phone number. Make sure the phone number doesn't have any plus sign, any brackets, or any spaces in between the digits. That's important. And the second thing which you need to make sure is that the country code is there in the front of the numbers. So yep, that's important. So for example, you have this kind of Google Sheet which contains like, you know, hundreds and thousands of pieces of data. So what we're gonna do is we'll have make.com extract that data from Google Sheet, put that data into our HTTP module, and this thing will trigger the call through Vapi to the customers. So let's do that. We'll just go to the plus sign, select a Google Sheets module and search rows. So we need a search row. This will be our first module. So we'll take this time clock to the Google Sheets module, and you already know wherever this time clock goes to, that's the first automation. That's the first step of the whole automation. So if you'll put this in here, Google Sheets module will become the first step of this whole automation. Let's connect it. Let's make sure our correct email IDs are in place. Spreadsheet ID, the name is cold calling data. Sheet name should be sheet 1. We'll put the limit as 10 so that the agent doesn't call more than 10 people at a time, because if it does, the number will end up in spam. We don't want that. So we'll put it 10. Let's save it. Save it again. And we'll right click on this module and run this module only. With this, only this specific module will run, and this is used for testing purposes. So it successfully runs, extracts a name, the company name, and the phone number. So that looks good. Let's go to our HTTP module, scroll down. You'll see something called a number in the very start. So I've put my number as of now. We'll remove my number. We'll put the plus sign remain in that place, and we'll add the phone number. So plus, and then the customer's phone number. The name, we'll put the name, that's my name. We'll scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. We'll see something called the first message. So this is the first message. Let's change it to the customer's name. So whenever the agent calls any customer, it's gonna say, hey, am I talking to, and then the name of the customer which you have fed in the Google Sheet. And this is the phone number which it will be calling. So all of this looks good to me. Let's save it. Now let's change the name to something like John, and hopefully the agent should call us and should basically call us John when it calls. So let's see.
Hey, am I talking to John?
Yes, who's this?
Hey, John, I'm Grace.
So you can see it took the data from the Google Sheet and took the name, the company name, and the phone number, and then called us with all that data. Now our call trigger system looks pretty good to me. We can add even another module to this automation, which will basically, you know, change the status of this lead to called or not called, depending upon if the agent calls, right? So we'll put something like status. So if the agent, or when the agent calls this lead, it's gonna say yes. Let's go to this automation. It's pretty simple to do that. Just click and add another module, Google Sheets, and we'll say update a row. That's the module we'll use. Make sure you select the correct Gmail ID. We'll use the cold calling data. That's our spreadsheet ID. Sheet name is sheet 1, and the row number. So the row number, you'll get it from this Google Sheet module, and you can even see that here. So row number is 2. Let's select that. Now, this module essentially allows you to do changes in any specific row. So we have selected the row number. So this is the row number it will be making changes to, and this is a row number which came from this module. So we need to change the status to yes. So whenever it calls the lead, it's gonna change the status to yes. So yep, let's call the customer. You can see it changed the status to yes, and it's calling the lead. So this is really good, and it basically helps us monitor which leads have been called and which leads haven't been called. So this looks good to me, and you can do as many changes as you want. So you can maybe add other columns to it, and you know they can reflect different status changes depending upon what you want. So it's pretty flexible. Play around it. I would say I'll save this automation for now. And now for those people who skipped the part and who basically came directly to this timestamp, for them I just want to tell you one thing. You'll download this automation from the description after provided the JSON files link. When you import this automation, just open the HTTP module. Here you have to paste your API key. So I've pasted my API key, which is bearer, and then this is my account's API key. And then you'll scroll down. So when you'll scroll down, you'll see something called tools ID. So as of now, I have put some dummy tools ID. We'll change these tools ID further. And when you'll scroll even more down, you'll see something called phone number ID. So here you have to put the phone number ID, basically the phone number which you want the agent should use to call your leads. So Vapi, and then you go to phone numbers, and then you select your phone number which you want the agent should use, copy its ID and put that ID in here. So now once that is done, obviously make sure that your sheets module are set up. This is set up, this one is set up as well, the accounts are set up, and the correct Google Sheets have been allotted. And in this module you'll paste your prompt. So the prompt has already been pasted, so you don't need to worry about that. And once that is done, make sure that the data sheet looks something like this. So it should have columns name, company name, phone number, status with all this data. So this is how the data sheet should look like, and make sure this is the order of the columns, you know, which you're calling. So once that is done, it's connected. You don't have to do any changes in here or here. So this everything looks good to me now. Let's save this. So this is our call trigger system. Now if you run this automation, it's gonna call person with this name and with this phone number, and when it calls, it's gonna change the status to yes. So let's run this automation. You can see it changed the status to yes, and it's calling the customer. So you can talk to the customer.
Hey, am I talking to John?
You can see it says, hey, am I talking to John? So that's the name of a lead. All right, guys. So now this system is ready. It's important. Now in the part 2 of this video, we'll integrate the appointment booking system in our agent.